for the contaminants you're looking for, and we'll walk out right through here. If you look down here, you got the little boiler technician. They were the ones in charge of the oil lab. Let's go topside. Well, looks like we're locked out there from the shipyard. We're going to have to walk back through where we were. We'll see you topside. Let's go forward. As we go forward, I'm going to step into the light here. And you see this door here, it would have been this opening right here. This is a soundproof door. Keeps some of the noise down, a little better habitability for the sailors on board. What we have here is access to one auxiliary machinery room. One auxiliary machinery room, the main job was to make fresh water out of salt water. So there's two auxiliary machinery rooms, one AMR, two AMR. And in that machine space, they would convert salt water into fresh water for bathing, cooking, and most importantly for steam to launch the aircraft. And there's a brake that actually ran on water, fresh water, for the catapult. So as the catapult's flying forward, the plane leaves, you need to stop that catapult, and there'd be about 50 or 60 gallons of water that piston would hit, stop that. They could pull it back and get ready to launch the next plane. So right here is where all the fresh water, half of it was made, the other half into AMR. So let's go forward some more. So here we just have some storage areas. We have some passageways that will cross over to the other side. The other passageway, we'll come back down that way in a while. We have a squadron maintenance office here. See if we have any lights on. And we do. So come on in. So this is a squadron maintenance office for VA 145. So if you're a pilot or you're a plane captain and you have problems with your plane, you're going to come down here and talk to the maintenance officers, find out where your parts are, where the equipment is going to be up and ready so you can fly. And if one thing we know, pilots whine. Well, what's a joke? I was told by a pilot, so I can repeat it. What's the difference between an F-14 motor and a pilot? You turn the jet off, it quits whining. There's my pilot joke. Let's go forward. So to work our way forward here, we're going to be going into a elevator machinery room. What happened in this space here was the equipment we're going to see would move one of the 4 aircraft elevators up and down to move the aircraft from either the hangar deck to the flight deck for flight or after flight, from the hangar deck down to the hangar deck. So come on in. This is a rather huge piece of equipment here. If you look over my shoulder here, you can see this large piston that would move with these cables over here. We have large containers full of lube oil here that would actually move these pistons a huge amount. We've got some good artwork here. EAO1, that's the A1 shop, engineering department, A division, shop number 1. A team. Again, A division was, A gang was my division. Didn't work on hydraulics, but I was in A2. Some of my friends I served with would be running these equipment when I was on board. As we go forward, you kind of get an idea of just how big these cables are. Get my flashlight going here. There's my flashlight. You kind of get an idea. These cables are several inches around, and there's multiple cables here. You're moving 60, 70,000 pounds on the elevator, plus the weight of the elevator itself. It's an extremely heavy proposition. As we go forward here, there's a second deck we're going to go down over here. It's a little easier access. As I transition back here, I'll have the cameraman stay put, and we're going to walk back here and just give you an idea of how big this space is and how long these pistons are and these cables were. I'm about 50 feet back now. This is a pretty big piece of machinery to move a pretty big elevator. Let's go down below. Follow me, guys. So I'm down below the piston on the aircraft elevator machinery room, and it's kind of like an iceberg. And the farther down below you get the water line, the bigger the thing gets. As you look down there, it's even a larger room down here than it is up there. And what we've got going on down here is these are the pumps and the motors. And if you get a shot of this motor here is about 3 feet long, maybe 3.5 feet long. This is a huge motor. Below the black and red candy stripe here, you have a coupler coupled to a hydraulic pump that would then pump the fluid through the piping to move that elevator. But we have 1, 2, 3 large pumps. Now you have to have electricity to move these things in addition to the pumps. And to get the power down here to those motors, you've got some serious voltage coming down here. Then over here, we have a low pressure and a high pressure lube oil lines that will high pressure bring the thing up and the fluid coming back down in a low pressure tank and then recirculating again. A lot of lube. I know I have some friends on the Hornet, the museum down in Alameda. When they move their elevators up and down, it's about $300 worth of electricity to move that up and down one time. It's a huge amount of electricity to move these things and to turn those pumps. So we're going to turn around and head back topside, friends. Let's go this way. So that was the aircraft elevator machinery rooms, upper and lower level. Let's keep going forward. Here we'll have fuel transfer stations. Right here we have a ready room. It's kind of dark. We take a look in there, and it was the swordsman of VA, I believe, 145. And if I'm wrong, swordsman, forgive me. We'll go forward. Take a quick pop in here. That was earlier on the tour where the pilots would go up to the entry level, up the escalator. So we'll back out of here. Now we're up in the forward mess decks. On board Ranger, the aft mess decks were your main meals. If you wanted a quick meal of hamburgers, egg McMuffins, and so on and so forth, up here you grab a quick bite, French fries, hot dogs, kind of a quick meal, quick stop. Over here we have berthing compartments and showers. More of your forward mess decks here. Let's cross over here. Again, bombs and food in the Navy evidently go together. The aft mess deck had a weapons elevator. We have one here too. We're going to work our way back a little bit through this large mess deck area. And this is one place that I just get out of the shower, clean uniform on, and the Marines will be performing a security breach drill. They'd come running out of this berthing compartment right here, full camo, M16, screaming, security breach hit the deck. They guard the nuclear weapon spaces. Probably one place that we never got to go was a Marine berthing. Well, as an E6, I have the authority to say, let's go to Marine berthing. Follow me. So here we are down in Marine berthing, and what we have here is a weapons locker area. Had room to pass your M16s underneath there for the gun storage. They'd keep their weapons here. They'd also keep them locked up in here. And down here we have the Marine Corps emblem. Off to our right over here we have their head and their racks. Over here, if you follow me into over here, we have a small training area. Of course, the Marines were always training for whatever might happen. Here you have a nice board, and you would have your Marine detachment, you would have your commanding officer, your XO, your sergeant majors. So that would tell you where, who was on board as far as Marines go. This would be their relaxation area. We've got a, let's say we got a refrigerator over here, but I think we got an OBA locker. So Marines would get out here in case of a fire. Nice berthing area. Never was down here during my time. Most of us weren't. So now we've got to see that. Let's go back topside. Well, that was the Marine berthing. Let's keep going forward. Back in the time Ranger was in service, smoking wasn't that all discouraged, I should say. And we have our forward store right around the corner here, if I can find my way around. And the forward store on board Ranger, they would sell mostly dungaree pants, shirts, and cigarettes. 1980, go through here, 1980 cigarettes on board Ranger were $3 a pack out to sea. There wasn't no tax. And we got a good light down here. It's not a big store down here. Back over here you would have shelves of clothing. Behind the counter over there you keep your cigarettes, and that's about what they sold in this store. Everything else is sold back in that aft store. Let's exit the ship store here, and let's head up top side and work our way up to the forecastle. We're almost there. Okay, let me fix that. That's $3 a carton, not a pack. Best thing to do, don't start smoking, and if you smoke, quit. There you go. So I'm standing in number 1 emergency diesel generator room, as you can see. Same thing we saw in number 2. We've got some nice artwork here. They called, we came, we anchored, Westpac 89. I'm assuming they maybe anchored a little more than they would have liked to. We're going to head up to the forecastle. A little personal note in this room here, back in the earlier days of the Navy times, earlier days being 1980 when I was in, we hazed individuals. One thing the engineering department would do, they would grease people. They would hang you upside down by your ankles and pat grease from head to toe, or in that case toe to head because you're upside down. It would take 4 to 6 hours to clean that grease off you in the shower. I was down here one night. I was going to help haze someone. I had not been hazed. My best friend routed me out. He pointed, Adams has not been greased. Next thing you know, I'm on the second deck down below, hanging upside down, looking at my best friend, wondering why he just turned me in. But I was greased, and so I went through that ritual. Now in the Navy today, if you do that, they will kick you out of the military. They do not tolerate that type of stuff. It was a good fun back then, but in these days, it's just not acceptable. So let's head on up to the forecastle, and we'll see where the anchor change used to be. Come this way. So we're going to take a little shortcut on the way to the forecastle. We came up the ladder. We ended up on the hangar deck level. Behind me, directly behind me, if you scan the camera back, the lighting's not that great, but there's the hangar deck. As you come back towards me here, where we're at is the Aircraft Intermediate Maintenance Department. I'm going to lose the light here for 1 minute, but just bear with me here. And over here, for you folks who worked on yellow gear, this is the ground support equipment shop. I'm going to get the light here. So in this room here, they would perform maintenance upon the yellow gear you would see on the flight deck and the hangar deck, moving aircraft and parking and pulling them in the right position. We're going to go back to where we came from and work our way through the AIMD department, and then we'll be headed up to the forecastle. So we're going to back in a little dark area here. We'll be right back into the light. Okay, that's better. So we're back into the light here. This is going to be the Aircraft Intermediate Maintenance Department. Here's the office. AIMD, the Standard of Excellence, USS Ranger, CB61. So this would have been their office where they took their orders and prepared their work orders and gave out the orders of what to work on and what to fix. Over here, we got some great work on the floor. This is going to be, as the tag says, aviation ordnance area. So we've got aviation armament technicians, and these guys are responsible for checking out the weapons prior to them being loaded onto aircraft. They would come up here, out the hangar deck, up the elevators, or up to the elevators to the flight deck. We got some real good artwork here. AIMD ordnance maintenance, and I can't read the date on that, but looks like perhaps 89. Great little job there, and it looks like someone's added a little extra artwork of their own on there. Follow me up here, we'll go forward. You see you've got the gantry cranes above my head here for moving the weapons around, arming, unarming them as they need to. We're going to be in the avionics shop now, and as we're coming through here, all the avionics and all the aircraft, if they had problems, they bring them down here, they get sent down here They'd be worked on. They had obviously some equipment removed here, and they would take care, have their test equipment. They get the avionics back in working condition, back in the airplane, so the mission can be completed. We're going to work forward here. Over here is down to the vestibule. That will go back down to the second deck area. We have another weapons elevator here that would move the weapons from the magazines down below up to the flight deck or to the hangar deck where they can arm the planes. As we work forward here, we're going to find ourselves in the avionics shop 2, and the light's not that great here, but we can come in and find a little bit of light. Same thing, rows of equipment, tables, monitors, and the avionics will be repaired here, put back on the airplanes so our mission can be completed. Number one job of an aircraft carrier is launch planes and deliver ordnance on target to the enemy. We have another avionics shop number 3. Again, a lot of computers on aircraft, even back in the late 80s, early 80s, through Ranger's lifetime actually, that needed to be maintained.